black coffee.
This is the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network. Coffee people talking to coffee people about coffee and things coffee adjacent. This episode of Another Cup is brought to you by Kavoya Specialty Coffee, where coffee is always a collaborative voyage.
Hello, Wisconsin, won't you find my Yanni Janssen?
Welcome to episode 25 of Another Cup, a podcast where we talk to suppliers, colleagues, customers, and all the relationships in between. In this episode, Todd Mackey sits down with Hannah Van Akron, Customer Service Coordinator at Kavoya Specialty Coffee, where the Customer Service Coordinator does more than you might imagine. Todd?
Hannah.
Todd.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Here we are introducing Hannah Van Akron. Am I pronouncing everything correctly?
You got it correct.
Okay, awesome. To the world of Kavoya Coffee, Specialty Coffee Podcasting Network. Welcome. I'm so excited I get to be the one to interview you. Hannah, I have some questions cooked and then a lot that are going to come up organically.
Great.
As they do. But one question I figured I'd start with is, where do you come from? Now, I want you to feel free to take that however you prefer. That could be literally, where did you grow up? You know, how'd you end up here? Could be, how did your time in coffee begin? It could be all of the above. But
okay, so
just kick it off and
background.
take us where you want to go.
I am from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, to which when people hear that, they generally say, nice. Go ahead.
That is nice. That's nice. Why do people say nice?
Because they don't know what else to say. Sheboygan, nice.
Okay.
Also, a nice place to live. Reader's Digest, 1998, best place to raise a family. Grew up there in 1998.
Okay.
So,
it makes me think of John Candy's character in the original Home Alone.
Absolutely.
Is he from Sheboygan?
Yes. Well, and he is in a band called the Kenosha Kickers. Kenosha's at the bottom part of Wisconsin.
Okay.
But they talk about being big in Sheboygan.
Oh, that must be wild. Okay, yeah. Amazing.
Also known as the surfing capital of the Midwest. There's
Sheboygan.
A lot of freshwater surfing.
Okay, yeah, lake surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all wind swell generated. Is that right?
Oh, are we getting to like wind talk already?
Yeah, shouldn't we? I mean, that's a northeasterly wind landing on the banks of Sheboygan.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Can't really speak too much of it. My brother was the surfer.
Okay.
I was just the observer.
Cool. That's cool. Awesome. So how would you rate growing up in Sheboygan?
One of the best places to raise a family.
Well, you've said that, but is that your take or is that someone else's take?
I think as a grown adult, I now like it. When I was in high school, middle school, it felt boring. It felt like you were stuck. But now that I'm older, I'm like, that would be a nice place to live again.
Oh, interesting. So you look at it and you're like, oh, I see why people want to live there.
Absolutely. Small town, affordable, but you're on the lake, so you have great natural beauty. And for me at this point, it's like my family's there. And when I was in high school, sure, that wasn't as big of a priority, but now as I'm getting older, it is. So yeah, I feel like since I've moved to Providence, Rhode Island, which was 5-ish years ago, I talk a lot about Wisconsin more than I ever have.
Cool.
So I guess that means I miss it.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. That's awesome to have a positive connection with where you grew up. So you moved to Providence 5 years ago. Why?
Because I had to move to the Northeast, and Providence is a much better spot to live than Boston.
Yeah, that's a great answer. So you were looking in New England, Northeast area, and Providence was the place that stuck out.
I actually did live here quite a few years ago during the pandemic, just kind of randomly.
Okay.
So I had to move back to New England and was already familiar with Providence.
Got it.
So chose to live here. I love living in the Ocean State. It's more about living in Rhode Island than it is living in Providence.
Got it.
So having access to Narragansett Bay and all the aquatic life out there is a pull, is a draw.
Nice. That's awesome. Very cool. How'd you get into specialty coffee?
Do you know this guy called Mike Ferguson?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I believe he's listening right now.
Hi, Mike. I knew Mike, and he was a customer at a restaurant that I worked at, and I was talking to him about what he did, and he told me about Kavoya, and I was like, that's very cool that a company like that exists in Providence. I had no idea. So I kept my eye open for roles at Kavoya, and one did trickle down the line a couple months later, and I saw it and I immediately applied.
That's very cool.
So yeah, this is my first coffee job.
Yeah, okay. Very good. But you're being from the restaurant world and the service industry, you know a lot of coffee people. You have a lot of friends in coffee, big picture.
Yeah.
Very well connected. You're very likable. You have a great network, so that's no surprise. But what is it that you do here, and what would you say like a normal day looks like?
So I feel like I'm a part of almost all the teams at Kavoya in one way or the other, except for maybe inbound. My role is customer service coordinator, so I do handle most of our general customer service, e-commerce specifically. And then I'm also part of our outbound team, so I do a lot of processing of our orders. I do some stuff with our marketing team. And then I also do kind of like the QC roasting for our office. So let's call it part of the QC team as well. So typical day is going through one way or the other, all of those things. So it's varied, which is nice.
Yeah. So like a typical day would not necessarily be all of those things, but it might be some combination thereof.
I don't know, did I list like 5 different teams? I would say it's a combo of like 4 to 3 of those per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. What are you enjoying the most about specialty coffee as an industry segment or as like a place to participate in your working life?
I think what I enjoy the most is seeing all of the origins come in. So for me, as like the draw for working in coffee was that it's such a global product. So it's very cool to be able to see coffee come in from all over the world. And then as I'm tasting and roasting the coffee, seeing the differentiations between all of those origins. Also, just being able to have those connections with those countries is the best part.
You're a world traveler, historically speaking. You've lived in Brazil. You've spent time other places. Like you have a very adventurous spirit. That would seem to be something that would be intrinsically linked, right? Like I imagine as someone who travels as well, like I find it comes up all the time in how I interact with coffee. So I guess without like projecting that on you, I'm curious, is that true of you too? It seems like the way I think, you know, of ways we've talked about coffees or, you know, talked about socioeconomic and, you know, social in climates in different countries and how that relates to coffee. Do you find yourself going there? Do you visualize coffee that way when you're roasting it, when you're touching it, cupping it, et cetera?
I definitely visualize it that way. And I visualize like my connection to certain origins, whether that be that I lived there, I visited there, or I've read a great book that takes place there. It makes it easier for me to connect and also just like remember certain attributes of those coffees. So yeah, Brazilian coffee is a huge one for that. And then also I've traveled through all of Central America. So it's great to be able to kind of pick up those origins in those countries and make those connections. I have never been to Africa. And last year when we got our Kenyan coffees in, I was like, all right, I need a connection to this. So I got Out of Africa from the library, which takes place on a Kenyan coffee farm, to try to make that connection in my brain.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't finish the book. It was one I got halfway through, but you know, the intention was there.
Can I engage you in a line of questions that you can take literally any direction you want to?
Go for it.
Okay. Would you share with our listeners something you consider about yourself and you're just like, man, I love that about me?
I like about myself, or like something I value in myself, is that I feel like I'm a creative-minded person.
Nice.
And I think I've developed or I've always been in that way. But as I've gotten older, have had time to develop that more. And I can appreciate my own like sense of design style, regular style, and artistic style. So in some way, the pandemic was so great for me because I was able to hone in on that, and especially with art. And I do like doing a lot of collage art, which we don't always have time for anymore. But that's something that I think is a good quality in myself, and that I'm proud to be able to show when I have the opportunity to put it on display.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you say collage, like what's the medium that you prefer?
So I basically collect, I don't know if you know, little golden books, or not little golden books, but golden books in general. Mm-hmm. They are mostly from the 60s, 50s, and they have sets like golden book encyclopedias, golden book dictionaries, and you can find the sets online, nature series. But they have beautiful images in them. And the paper is old and gorgeous, and it doesn't have like the gloss and shine that children's books have now. So I try to use a lot of that in collage art, but also and you
chop it all up and mix it together.
You know what? I do, and sometimes I feel really guilty about it.
Really?
Oh,
why?
Yeah, because these books are gorgeous and they're like pieces of history. But with the golden books, there's so many of them.
Well, I imagine, there's places, like in the current context. That's really cool.
But it feels bad because they are just they're pieces of art in a sense, and you're chopping them up to potentially make another piece of art, or just like leave in your box of cuttings and then you never see it again.
Yeah, I can see why that's layered and complicated, but I also look at it like, this is that they have little hope of seeing eyes in many cases. So to like imagine giving a new shape and a new life to something, that's pretty cool. In addition to it, the aesthetic and the beauty of it. That's cool. I'm glad you love that about yourself. That's really neat. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
I know you're an avid sailor. How's your sailing going these days?
Oh, great. Yeah.
That's awesome. What would you say your favorite position of sail is?
Jibe ho.
Is that really a position of sail? Downwind, fully downwind.
Little
scary.
dinghy.
That's dangerous.
Mayday, mayday.
Yeah. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Though you're supposed to call 3 times.
Okay.
But
so
that goes for anything,
avid.
even like a non-urgent call. This I didn't know until Dave, who captains the Stillhouse Cove runner on weekdays over at the Rhode Island Yacht Club. I had no idea this was a thing, but that is indeed how you should call in every case.
Okay.
Yeah, lesson learned. Whoever you are calling to, like in the case of Mayday, it's anyone, right? Channel 16, the standard Mayday channel.
What's the call under Mayday if you're not quite there yet?
That's a good question. I'd have to look back. I don't know.
I learned it the other day and now I've forgotten.
That's fun.
Red Rover.
No, definitely not that. But that's fun. What has been your favorite adventure on your sailboat?
Going to Potter's Cove is pretty much the farthest that we've gone. Yeah, on Prudence Island.
Northeastern Prudence Island.
Right. So that's kind of as far as we get at this point. Though we did bring it up for Mystic. So that was the bigger adventure. That was more of like an assisted adventure. So next summer, I think it will go a bit farther. But yeah, as potentially previously said in this podcast, the best part of living in Rhode Island is having access to Narragansett Bay and the ocean. So having the opportunity to be out there now is a great improvement and a really beautiful thing in my life.
Awesome. Yeah, that was the sailing and the waterways and all that. Like when you said that, that was what came to mind for me too. I feel like especially as time goes by, like the city and the community, I feel have always felt connected to, but I feel like the amenities, naturally speaking, are like what really make it stand out.
Totally.
That's awesome. Do you give a lot of thought to freshwater sailing now that you have to maintain a saltwater sailboat? Or has it not been that long yet?
Yeah, I'm not burned out yet.
There's a special kind of way that saltwater eats components.
Yeah. Our dock mate gave us some like cleaner the other day. I couldn't tell you what it was, but it, you put it on your boat and then wash it down and it strips off all the salt. He was raving about it. So I don't know.
Nice.
There's ways around it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Hannah. This was awesome. It's great to visit with you in this context. I know we're always buzzing in the office and racing to and from places, but we're so grateful to have you.
Thank you.
Hello, Wisconsin, won't you find my Yanni Janssen?
You've been listening to Another Cup, part of the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network, where the executive producer is me, Mike Ferguson. Our associate producer is Sam Supsky, and our theme music for this episode is Hello, Wisconsin, performed by Irving Kaufman in 1917. Thank you, public domain laws. If you've enjoyed this or any show on the Kavoya Coffee Podcasting Network, please do all the things. Like, subscribe, review, don't keep us a secret, and take our listener survey at the link in the show notes. Finally, remember 2 things. You can email me with thoughts, ideas, kind words, and limericks at mike.ferguson@kavoya.com. And Black Coffee is performed by the one, the only, Ella Fitzgerald.
Chop, 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 chop,
That's
chop,
a very Todd question.
This has been a CCPN production.